Time to start. First World War, it's called Z hour, 0 hour. And for those parachuters amongst you, P hour is when you jump out of the aeroplane. So anyway, very warm welcome to you all to the Birchington Parish Council full council meeting held in the Birchington Library on the 3rd of March 2026.
Chair, can I have a standing order? Could you tell me when I can say standing orders? I've got something to bring up. When is the correct? I want to know about a motion. When is the proper time to do it?
Colin.
A standing order.
Yeah, don't interrupt, please.
Oh, sorry.
We'll go on. This is the last full council meeting before we have the election next week. Just a quick word on safety. We're not expecting any fire alarms or anything like that, but should anything happen, leave either the way you came in or behind me here. I will be the last person out, so I'll shepherd people out if necessary, and we'll gather out on Dog Acre. But as I say, we're not expecting anything. This council meeting is being live streamed, and so could I ask you please to speak up, not speak over people, and be aware that when you do speak, you will be on camera. So just please remember that. The councillors will introduce themselves in a moment, but I'd just like to introduce Jane Bevan, our parish clerk. My name is Max Howden. I'm the vice chairman and standing in for our chairman, Nick Blankley, who couldn't be here this evening. So if I could ask the councillors, please, just to introduce themselves clearly. Neville, please.
Thank you. Neville Hudson, long-standing councillor in Birchington.
Bob Preble. Colin Brown.
Linda Wright.
Jim Moore. Phil Fellows.
John Tiley.
And we have a number of members of the public present with us this evening. Okay, let's press on. First of all, apologies for absence.
Yes, so we've got apologies from Councillor Blankley, also from Deputy Clerk Bill Anderson, and from PC Stephen England, and our Community Warden Jason Gordon.
Okay, thank you. Declarations of interest. Does anyone have a declaration of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest? Neville, please.
Yes, item 9, Birchington Heritage Trust.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have one? Okay, noted. Nobody else has any pecuniary interest. Okay. The minutes of the full council meeting of the 20th of January. You should all have seen those by now. Does anyone have any comments on page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4? Can we record these as an accurate reflection of what was said?
So moved, Chairman.
Chairman proposed by Neville, seconded. John, all in favour?
Yeah.
Yeah, unanimous. Thank you for that. Vice Chairman's remarks, not the Chairman today. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak? Pat, thank you. Do you want to speak now, or do you want to speak?
No, I can do it now.
Okay.
It will only take me 3 minutes.
Okay.
First of all, after kind of lobbying this council for years, unfortunately, we will not be doing speed watch. I don't want to go into the details. We were not made to feel welcome, though. We were told we had to forget we'd ever done it and be treated like new people over and over again, and we are not going to do it. We were asked about something money for refurbishment, and I wondered if it might be interesting to reinstate the steps so that people who have limited mobility can get down in the dip. So I'll pass that to Jane, because it's a picture of how it was. I've just given Jim a picture of the works going on in Station Road, which he's been canvassing for several years. And finally, I just say how devastated we feel in Heritage Trust. We were founder members, we worked to build up the museum, and we think we've been treated pretty shoddily by Kent County Council. And I did my best to say to some of the other people in the trust who were saying parish council, and I said, don't you dare blame the parish council. They were given false information. They were told we were safe, and it's not their fault. And finally, could I wish those standing best of luck in the election?
Okay,
Because
well,
this
thank you.
has been the best council we've had under Nick Blakely for quite a few years.
Okay, thank you. We'll pick up a bit more on the library later
Yes,
on.
I
Okay,
know, yes.
so thank you for that.
That come in now.
Do you want to say something now?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Many of you may know, some of you won't know that Miss Burgess was in fact a freeman of Birchington and had been some for a number of years. So that really associates her with the parish council. And she has done splendid work, has been mentioned, for the Birchington Heritage Trust. I wonder, Chairman, if you'd be prepared to allow the council to have a minute or so in her memory, because she was such an outstanding person for Birchington.
Would you like to do that now?
Yes, please.
Okay. We could do that separately. Okay, for those of you who didn't quite understand that, a lady called Jenny Burgess died last night, and she was 92, very, very well known in Birchington, far better known than many of us here. So if I could just ask you, if you're able to be upstanding just for a minute, just to reflect on what she achieved for us. Thank you. I was very sorry to hear the news of Jenny Burgess. I had some dealings with her myself in the British Legion. She did ask me to, if I would look into the background of her father, who'd been in the Royal Sussex Regiment, and she'd had a fascinating childhood. I think she spent time in Egypt, and she certainly was the person, the go-to person in Birchington if there was anything you wanted to know about the history. So for those of you who don't know, she used to live bang across the road from here on the corner house opposite Dogacre, but more recently she's been in a care home. Anyway, I found out this morning that she died last night, and any other details about funerals will be forthcoming in due course. That's one piece of bad news. The other piece of sad news is that many of you will know Roger Latchford. 3 years ago, he was told he had 6 months to live with kidney problems. He kept going, and he died about 10 days ago now at his daughter's house up in Darlington with the family around him. He was my predecessor as the chairman of the British Legion branch. He had a well-lived life. He was a lieutenant colonel in the army. He served in the Falklands campaign. He left the army to set up a business in Germany. He introduced Dyson vacuum cleaners, amongst other things, into Germany, and was awarded the OBE for his services to British business overseas. He then came back from Germany here, and I know that some of you will have been involved with him politically, and I believe that he was the opposition leader at Kent County Council at one stage for UKIP. He was responsible for the crossing outside the library, the bus shelter outside the medical centre, and the flagpole on the corner of Dogacre there. Marvellous life. He was 89 and a half when he died. It's getting a bit close for some of us, but his wife Carla is still living in the house on Seaview Road and well supported by her family at the moment. So Roger Latchford and Jenny Burgess, two sort of stalwarts of Birchington, both have done an awful lot, and we've lost them both within the space of 2 weeks. So a little bit of sad news to start off with, I'm afraid. Just going on to some other remarks. I attended the parish forum, the town and parish forum at TDC the other day. One of the items was the local government reorganisation, and many of you will be aware of what is going on, that there's going to be a change. The government have decided to have a change to the way the country is administered, basically, and TDC favour what is called a 4-unitary authority system for Kent, which would involve us here in Birchington and Thanet being linked with Canterbury and Dover. And there's a very interesting, very well worked through booklet about this. It's 195 pages long, and it's one of those things that if you're not actively involved in the writing of it, you would probably, just as a third-party layman coming in to read it, you would find it very tricky to work through, because of course you're missing out on a lot of discussions that were held before remarks are made in the booklet. It is very comprehensive. It's interesting to note that parish and town councils have basically been excluded from all these conversations on that. However, there is a survey, and we have been asked, well, not just us, others as well, whether we could feedback our views on this idea of the unitary authority by Thursday, the 26th of March. Now, it's one of those things, although we really haven't been involved, it's one of those things that I feel that we ought to at least make the effort of responding to. And we have a slight problem in that we don't necessarily know who's going to be here to respond to it after next week. So what I'd like to suggest, and this is not a 3-line whip on this, but if I were to make an assumption that Phil, that you are elected again, and you hope you are, would you be prepared to lead a group on responding to the survey?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Sorry to catch you out on that. So we'll see how that pans out. And there were some interesting figures. The implementation of this, whatever this is worked out at £130.9 million. Various annual savings, and a payback time, in other words, the time when most of this money will be recovered, will be between 7.8 and 14.3 years. I suppose it's one of those things where you might think, is it worth me putting solar panels on my roof? How long will it take me to get my money back? Anyway, so there it is. As I say, it is a comprehensive booklet, and I wouldn't say it's well worth a read, but it is an interesting read. Okay. The announcement of what is selected for Kent will be announced by mid-July, and the new structure will be in place by the 31st of March 2028. So that will happen in the first year of the council that's parish council that's selected in 2027. So there are sort of two hurdles to go. Some of you will still be here. TDC will be putting up 8 working groups to work through this. I did ask the chief executive, you know, have you gone through a series of what ifs? What if you're correct and this is the selection by the government? Will Thanet District headquarters still remain, or will you all be based in Dover or Canterbury or whatever? What sort of computer systems will you use? What sort of staff will be left? And it's all this is what the working groups will work through in due course. So there's no real answer to that. We're at the bottom of the list. We'll eventually be told what the deal is, and we'll just have to pick up the ball and run with it. I did make the point to him, and this point was also made at the Kent Association of Local Councils meeting earlier, it was last year now, wasn't it? To remember what parish councils are. They are volunteers, and they tend to be, the people who can give their time tend to be a bit older, and you know, only want to do as much work as they want to do. So I hope that we don't get a whole load of tasks thrust upon us, and then we don't have the people who are actually going to carry them out. So, you know, lots of nodding of heads, but that's for the future. The lady dealing with parking, which I think, Emma, at one stage you were involved with, but Penny Button, there's a little bit of chit chat, but all I could rather gather from that was it was going to be dynamic charging. So in the summer, you're going to pay more than you are in the winter, basically. But there wasn't much more to come from that. Pride in Place was another thing that was a certain amount of conversation, but we'll pick that up as an agenda item later on, if we may. Okay, that's enough from me. Press on to receive the committee reports, and if we could have the finance reports, Bob, please.
Thank you, Max. Just some updates since the last Finance Committee meeting. The preset budget for next year did get approved and has been submitted to TDC. Rossetti Gardens, we're still pursuing that as a community asset transfer. TDC want money for it, but we believe it's a community asset. So watch this space, a bit more on that later. We have now notified KCC to end our lease for the Burley Gallery at the end of August this year. We are working with KCC officers and KCC councillors to secure a best outcome for the Birchington Heritage Trust. The officers and the councillors are not yet singing from the same hymn sheet, but we are making progress. Tendering for office refurbishment at Albion Road is still to happen. Pride in Place funding. We have proposed a method for fair distribution, but TDC seem to want to allocate majority of the funding to main towns such as Broadstairs and Ramsgate. A token £20,000 of the 1.5 million is being offered to each parish, but more on that a bit later. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Bob. Does anyone have any questions from the council for Bob? No, thank you. Environment, John, please.
Good evening, everyone. Not too much report from Environment. We had our meeting back in January and covered most of the topics. The MRG is still being well used by the football teams and the public. The grounds are being kept immaculately by Dave, our grounds person and handyman. He's doing a fantastic job there, and fighting with the amounts of water that he's had in the last few months has been causing some problems, but we are managing to get most matches played. Dog Acre, lights have gone up at Christmas and they're staying up now, and I think we will be doing some amendments to them to move them up a little bit to stop them being interfered with by people who decide they want to swing from them and damage them. So that will be happening. Shelters, nothing happening now, but probably in the next month or two when the weather gets better, we'll be starting our shelter thing again. And Birchington Bloom have put in their grant application, and we've accepted their grant application for the next year. So they'll be busy planting out the planters and other areas within the parish. And that was really my report.
Thank you, John. Does anyone have any questions? Colin?
How's the car park going on in the recreation ground? Because I know we had trouble with a lot of rain. I know we've had a lot of rain this year. Is that
I
holding up?
don't think there's any problems with it.
Good.
Especially with the reinforcement we did on the entrance. That stops all the carving up that was happening.
That's made a difference.
Year.
Oh, great.
So yeah, I think it's holding up well.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, John. Planning? Bob, back to you, please.
Thank you, Max. Just to remind everybody, the planning committee acts as a consultee for applications within the parish and ensures applications follow policies of the Birchington Neighbourhood Plan. An application on Cliff Road to change occupation as 1 unit into 5 units is being objected to, as it's seemingly against the character of the area. And George, can I speak to you about that later on, please? Following the TDC decision to grant outline permission for the 1,600 homes, we took legal advice, and the outcome was, both for planning matters and land ownership, that there was not grounds for a successful judicial review. In the circumstances, we could not justify further legal action and cost expenditure. We have, thanks to Jim, had some good outcomes on highway matters. The bubble paving has been corrected at Albion Road car park, and work started on the pavement puddle outside the United Services Club. And we've got a commitment for a drop curb improvement on Cliff Road for mobility scooter access. We also need some more maintenance work, such as the condition of Alpha Road car park. Please keep reporting potholes on the KCC website. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for yes, Phil?
Did we get a final figure how much we spent on the legal advice in the end?
I can send it round to everyone. We have got a small refund coming. So I haven't got it available now. We've got about £400 coming back. We've spent about 13,000.
Right, yeah.
Okay, you okay with that, Phil?
Yeah, I just wondered how much it was in the end.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Just as an aside, to do with the planning applications, quite by chance, some of the work Jane's been doing on the clerking side, it turns out that I'm a bit of a Luddite when it comes to this, but talking about AI, if you load a planning application into something like ChatGPT, and then subsequently load on top of that things like the neighbourhood plan, the local plan, flood risk, health and safety, whatever you want, it will whip through all this input to see how it all affects that planning application, and almost instantaneously spit out a great spiel about whether this planning application has got legs or not. I think you still need to look at it with a human overview of it, but it is quite an amazing thing for planning applications. Whether TDC want to pick up on that sort of thing, that's up to them, clearly, but it is quite interesting. Okay, thank you for that.
We
General purposes.
finished.
Nothing. Okay.
We didn't know. I was in hospital that day, and yeah, we cancelled it. And with the new strategy, the general purposes is no longer. So.
Okay, we hope you're fit.
I'm okay now.
Okay, good man. Good man. Okay, and we're to note the agreed minutes from past meetings, which I think we've all seen at those meetings. Are we all happy to note those sets of minutes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone against? No. Okay, thank you. So we'll note those minutes. Go on to the AGR assertion, and Jane, please.
Yes, so thank you. I've circulated a draft IT policy for members. We do have to have an IT policy in place to be compliant on the AGAR assertion 10. This is all part and parcel of that compliance. This needs to be in place by the time we come to have our audit, which is actually planned for about the 12th of May. I think it's over to members.
Okay, you all have read that. Does anybody have any particular comments? It's been taken from other areas as well. Yes, Jim.
I'd ask, is this basically what what other organisations will have with the local government. I'm just wondering, because item part A, it says, it's talking about personal devices. I think I need a bit of help with some of this, so if I can...
Yeah, I mean, what I've done is I've taken the main policy is the now model policy, which has been circulated to towns and parishes. Is there a particular aspect, Jim?
As an example, going back to part 6, all ICT equipment remains the property of Bircham Parish Council.
That's if we give you. That's if you're provided with.
Oh, right, okay.
So, for example, this laptop.
Yeah.
Is Birchington Parish Council laptop, so I have to abide by the rules when using it.
But I might need to go through it in a bit more detail with you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Phil.
I just, I mean, just talk about loss of devices. I mean, obviously we haven't been issued with one yet, but I'm sure it may happen in the future. It doesn't say what will happen if, who's responsible if you do lose your device.
Who's responsible if you lose it?
Yeah, I think it needs to be in there so it's clear.
Responsibility for the loss of a device.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to clear any ambiguity on that.
Okay, I think that's a good point. We'll add that in. Anything else, John?
The only thing about using personal devices, I mean, I use my personal phone to pick up my council emails. By virtue that they're on my phone, that data is on my phone. Therefore, is that classified as data? I guess it must be, because there can be confidential things amongst that which need to be protected. And I think everybody here would have a problem in one way or another, having even on their home computers stuff, and it coming up on the computer and potentially being accessed. And I think, you know, we should very seriously think about having council provided equipment. I know it's a duplication and people don't want it, but to allow us to comply, I think, you know, even if it's only very simple tablets or something like that, I think we should very carefully consider our position. Yeah.
I think we talked about it before, and I think it was a budget thing this year. Maybe we can look at it in 6 months' time, see if we have some spare budget, then we can look at that. I think we've come to a point where we should, with data issues, I think we should be using council equipment.
Yeah, Neville?
Yeah, I'm happy with the report, the way it's presented to us and the details in it. As the clerk has told us, it is in line with the NELP report. And Chairman, I'd like to move that we approve it and it becomes our policy. Thank you.
I'd like to second that, if I may.
With the caveat that we put in a responsibility for the loss of device.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
You happy with that?
Yeah, but have we decided who is responsible?
I think what I have to do.
What are we signing up for?
No, what I have to do is actually put that into the policy, and then
You'll have to send it around.
we'll have to send it round again. Obviously, with the election happening on next Thursday, within 14 days, we have got to have a full council meeting. So it'll have to be.
We can make an amendment now if you want to just write the amendment out to say that, you know, that the loss is down to the councillor whoever lost it, I suppose. But if you want to word that correctly.
Yeah.
Councillors' decision. It's always one of these things when we're slightly pressed against time we don't really have the time to send this round again and rewrite it. It's a good point, and I think if we put it down, if we're happy that it is in the military, if you're given a bit of kish and you lose it, it's your problem.
Yeah, I'm making the amendment, and if everybody wants to second that amendment, and then it'll be part of the document.
Okay, if we put in an amendment that it is the responsibility of the person who has signed for it, would that be satisfactory?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
Okay, so it's been proposed.
Sorry, could I just ask another question, because again, going back to paragraph 6, personal USB storage devices must not be used without prior approval. Does that mean that we can only use USB? I assume there are many memory sticks and things like that. So we can only use them that are provided by the parish council.
Yeah, we shouldn't be putting things on USB sticks and handing them around and use between us. It's not secure.
And also USB sticks are one of the most common ways of
Yeah.
getting viruses into
Yeah.
systems. So
So we're happy with that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All in
Sorry,
favour?
could I?
Sorry.
It's just that I use my personal computer. It says unauthorized software must not be installed.
I think they're talking about council.
Well, this is where I have a bit of a problem.
Well,
Because
the use of personal one is item 8, not item 6.
Okay, right.
That's asset management is item 6. So it's obviously clearly talking about.
It kind of one works against the other, because if I've got unauthorized software, whatever that's supposed to mean, on my personal device, you can still get the same problem, surely.
No, your personal device, if it's a council device, you can't put unauthorised software on it.
Okay,
Your own personal device,
Do what you like.
you put what
Do
you
what you
want on it.
well,
But you-
okay,
but,
yeah.
Obviously, the use of USB sticks is, you shouldn't really do it because they can carry viruses.
Yeah.
You're better off emailing the files, any files that you want to have a look at through the parish council email.
Okay,
And then that keeps, that sort of like keeps it all enclosed within the parish council data.
Okay. Jim, are you okay with this?
I won't say I'm 100%, but I just need to get a better understanding
Yeah,
of it,
sure.
I think.
Sure. Okay. I think it begs a further question about laptop computers and telephones, which is something else I think we've spoken about probably for 2 or 3 years now, and budgets have slightly been against us, but I think it's something we're going to have to look at, or whoever is here is going to have to look at a little bit more closely in the future. But can we take it then, this IT policy with that amendment
Yeah.
is acceptable? It's been proposed, it's been seconded.
Yeah.
Are you all in favour?
Yes.
I've got
That
to
is-
abstain.
That is unanimous.
No,
Okay.
sorry,
No, he's abstaining.
Sorry,
I'm abstaining.
you're abstaining. Okay, so it's not unanimous, but it's
Yeah,
one
nearly.
abstain.
Agreed.
It's nearly unanimous. Okay, understood. Thank you for that anyway. Well, I think this, as I say, this whole business about individual laptops for council work needs to be taken into account. Okay, the standing committee review. We've all been involved in these discussions. You've seen all the paperwork from Nick. We've had the workshop, we've had the staffing meetings. You've seen the paper that came out, so you've had plenty of opportunity. So I just want to go through the 5 recommendations with you.
A point of order, Chair. Is this a motion? Because I mean, when it came before us before, it wasn't a motion. It was just a report. And no, it's a motion.
It's a motion, no.
But surely Nick should be here to present the motion if it's a motion.
Well, he's not here, so what?
Well, it's tabled and every bit has been circulated, so I think that's fine. And I'm happy to move it on his behalf. If you want somebody to formally move the paper, I would move that it's accepted, but obviously take debate.
No, I just think it should have been the same heading as it was last time. It's just a report to council, not just a motion. But there we go.
The paper's been written as a result of the workshop that we had after the staffing committee. I think it was
1st of July.
30th of January.
1st of July, top of the paper.
Do you want to, Phil, do you want to go through each recommendation, or you want to take it as a block?
I mean, some of the things are fairly straightforward anyway. But I mean, we've already got a working group there. I mean, training for councillors, I would have thought is, I mean, we're not changing anything, are we really? But, and then the last recommendations, it says that we're going to adopt them at the next meeting. So I'm not sure what we're agreeing tonight. I think the things that had been left out, the things that we said we needed more work, wasn't it? That we were going to come back to at a later date.
Yeah. This is for agreement of this paper for implementation at the next annual meeting, at which time the committees will be formed and then they will write their terms of reference for each of those committees.
So we're not adopting the structure tonight. It's going to be adopted at the next meeting. So we're not agreeing tonight.
We're adopting this document to be implemented at the next meeting.
I don't think we're in the position to make that decision, bearing in mind that we've got an election next
Yeah,
week.
I do think it's a bit weird that half of this council might not be here next week, and it could be 4 other people. But I'm just...
Well, we get at least 60% could be here. 40% might not be. I don't know, Neville, what's your view?
My view is the practical one. We've taken advice on the method we run the business, the council, and this has come from that advice that we took. Proposals are put in place. The ideal thing is for us to agree these proposals now. They've been debated widely, and therefore, then when it comes to the next annual meeting of the council, it will be based on these committees and these memberships. If you wait, it's pointless, because the annual meeting won't be able to put in place the proposals that we're talking about, and have paid quite a lot of money for the advice that we've received.
And we have discussed this ad infinitum now. Everybody has been involved. This is nothing. This is not a trick. No one's being caught out here.
No. We did discuss the paper though. I thought the paper was going to have more discussions. I didn't think the paper was going to come to this meeting.
But we've discussed.
But a lot of it's been left out. That's the thing.
Yeah, but we have discussed it.
Yeah.
Non-stop. I mean, at some stage, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life. You can only discuss so far, and you have to take a decision. So the motion is as there, to consider and adopt the Standing Committee review report and recommendations. It's motions from Neville.
Can we have a recorded vote on this, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
Can we have a recorded vote on it? Because I can't see who puts their hands up.
Yeah.
Yes, no,
Thank you.
no, that's absolutely fair. Okay, so it's
I'd like to second it, Max, if I may, please, because I think we have discussed this in detail. We've had the report. It's all been there. It's all written down. This is a consensus view of the best structure for this council going forward, which hopefully will then get adopted at the meeting following the election. So this is the format based on experience over the last couple of years of what we need. And I think we should just stop messing around. We should just vote for it and get it in place.
okay. So those in favour, please raise your hands and I'll read them out, Colin. Neville, Bob, Jim, Phil, John, Colin, you're in?
Yeah.
And myself. So that is passed unanimously, and that will go forward at the next.
Chair, can I add to that? That was excellent. That gets me involved. What's going on? Can we do that every meeting? I just think then I feel that a part of what's going on, who's doing what. Otherwise,
We can do recorded votes.
otherwise I'm being
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
thank you.
I think that's a very good point.
Good idea,
and,
Colin.
that's one that I certainly support. I think we should all declare our hands.
Thank
So yes.
Thank you, Max.
Like a game of poker.
Okay, the next, thank you for that. We'll crack on. Next item on the agenda is Rossetti Gardens. We've heard a little bit about that from Bob. I mustn't say Bob like that. It always makes me think of Blackadder.
All true.
I think we all know know what's going on with Rossetti Gardens, and we have written, Jane has written to Mr. Pitcher. We, the parish council, wish to keep Rossetti Gardens as an open space. The Thanet District Council want to sell it, as far as we're aware, and they seem to have put a figure of £36,000 on it, as far as I'm aware. We've asked for a hold on that for the moment, but it does strike me as one of those things that, whilst we at parish level can stake put our position onto all of this, really our TDC councillors are the ones who are in there on a regular basis, and they can talk to the officers concerned and really make sure that they understand. It reminds me of one of these terrible things. I remember Admiralty Arch, when Michael Portillo was the Defence Secretary. He wanted to sell it. So he knew it was knowing the cost of everything and the value of nothing, and it didn't. And I think as an individual, never mind as a vice chairman, as a resident of Birchington, I think it's very wrong. We're looking at a cost of something rather than the value of it for the community. And so, as far as this meeting is concerned, we've asked for a hold on it at the moment. Have we had a reply from Mr. Pitcher?
No, I wrote to Mr. Pitcher following his email, just to say that the parish council is giving matter careful consideration, and that members had asked for further information to be provided. So we want to know the basis and assumption underpinning the valuation, and whether the previously agreed community asset transfer and heads of terms from 2019 have been taken into account as a material consideration. So they originally gave us a deadline of the 17th of March to actually state whether we wanted to go ahead, but we've asked for a bit more time. So I'm waiting for a response from Mr. Pitcher on that. At the same time, I've filled out the form to a community right to bid form to nominate Rossetti as an asset of community value. So that's gone into another team in Thanet District Council, and they have to make a decision on that by the 10th of April, I believe. So the two things are running in parallel at the moment. So hopefully that will buy us a little bit of time, you know, because obviously at one point it was considered a community asset and they were prepared to transfer it to the parish council. So that's where we're at the moment. And I know Colin asked a question about whether that so far has cost us any money, and it hasn't. It's a straightforward, you know, letter into one area of Thanet District Council and an application into another area of Thanet District Council.
Yes, thank you. I've spoken to a local resident who is a chartered surveyor, and he's offered to do a free valuation on Rossetti Gardens, and he very much feels that it's a community asset and it should be given to the parish, which is totally different to the valuation provided by the TDC surveyor. But if the surveyor's been asked to value it as possible development land, then that's quite different to the way that we see the land. So if you wish me to go ahead and ask the surveyor to do his valuation, he'll be happy to do it, and there's no charge.
Okay, right. I don't see a downside to that.
No.
No.
Excellent.
Okay. I think just for benefit of anyone who's listening in, and for those in the gallery, so to speak, the fear has always been that if Christie's or whoever owns Christie's were to also own that little block of land as well, and then knock everything down, would there be a danger that they could build something on it? And we wouldn't want that. Maybe covenants, maybe all sorts of things. But it is quite a good thing when you come out of the station and you're coming into Birchington, you see immediately a green space there, and then you see another green space over on Dog Acre. And so whatever happens, our aim at the parish level is to keep that space green, basically. And we hope that, as I say, our TDC councillors will push that message across to whomever they need to at TDC.
I just pick up on that because I mean Jane will verify. I mean I did ask for a one-to-one meeting with a lady called Andrea Plant, who's the asset manager at Thanet Council, and I did that meeting, one-to-one meeting in the parish office, where we didn't get very far. They've got a line which they're sticking to, and I don't know, anybody who's been following TDC that watches their meetings will know that they've got a budget hole this year which they need to fill, which is going to come from asset disposal. So you know that's where they're going. Everything's got a value and everything's going to be sold. So unfortunately, that's the, you know, we've went. I went with Andrea at every angle, and I had lots of things written down that Nick had got different legal arguments, and she just batted them off every time, you know, and it was sticking by this valuation of 34,000.
Yeah. I think it's the local, isn't it, that might have given us a little bit of an
yeah,
inroad.
I think the road that's Jane's going, trying to get it declared an asset of community value is probably our best way. But let's see if Christie's come up with 34,000. I mean, I'm not sure if they will or they won't, but if they outbid us, what can we do? I don't think we're in a position to pay that sort of money.
No, we're not. We're not as a parish council at the moment to pay those sums of money from the precept and the budget that we have. So we're slightly on hold at the moment, aren't we?
Do you want to vote on the free valuation? If everyone agrees to do it.
Oh, okay. Yes. Are you agreeable that we ask Bob to ask his chartered surveyor to do a free valuation of that piece of land?
Yes.
Can I just amend that, because it's what we do with that valuation afterwards. It's okay, get an evaluation, the guy says 10,000. What? So we just have an argument that we think it's worth 10,000. So what? Well, it's what we do with that valuation afterwards.
That's absolutely correct. But because it's free, we're not sort of under. It's not like the library business where we were paying money and we didn't quite know what we were going to do with the valuation when we got it. This one will give us a figure and will allow us to go back to TDC.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. That we use that to challenge the valuation.
So I think we're all in favour. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Yes, unanimous. Thank you, Bob. If you
Will do.
Yeah. Sorry, Colin. That's everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So if Bob could crack on with that, it would be very good. Thank you. The library.
I have to leave the table in accordance with standing orders.
Okay. I think the door's not locked.
In the toilet.
Okay, just to say that Councillor Neville Hudson, who has an interest in this subject, is walking away and not quite sure what he's doing.
He's in the playing with the Lego.
Okay, Bob, would you like to pick up again just to clear our minds?
My night, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. The update really is that we have written to KCC to formally say to them that we do wish to end the lease tenancy arrangement, which will be effective at the end of August this year. And on the parish council budget this year, we've just funded it for the April to August period. We're now in a situation where we're ready to write to the Heritage Trust, because we have now to give them formally notice that the Burley Gallery will not be available to them indefinitely, and they will need to provide vacant possession by the end of August. So that's the next step to go to. Have I missed anything, Jane?
No, the only thing that I'd say is that I haven't received a response from KCC accepting our termination of the lease, so that's outstanding. I've chased them for that. And we are also, I'm in the process of setting up a meeting with councillors Webb and Evans and members of the Heritage Trust, Neville included, Bob, yourself, to take discussions further, because I don't think the Heritage Trust had a very productive meeting with KCC officers following our meeting with them. So that's the sort of next stage really, and I expect that meeting will happen in the next couple of weeks. Okay. I have got the letter here for the Heritage Trust to to give to Neville when he comes and sits back down.
All right, thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any queries for Bob? Yes, Phil.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if we're missing out on something that Mrs. Alford said about being hung out to dry by KCC. I'm not sure what, because I mean, last time we'd heard that there was a meeting with the KCC councillors, and that's the basis that we're going to go back and give our notice in, that make sure they were safe and they were promised the space in here. So I'm not sure.
Well, that was the sort of conversation that was held with PC councillors, that some space would be made available. It was probably never going to be totally sufficient, but a space was going to be made available. But when we spoke to the officers, i.e. from the library side and from the asset management side, they didn't seem to know about the meeting with the councillors, and they weren't saying that. They were basically saying, give notice, then
You're out.
you're out.
So what are the KCC councillors saying following that?
Well, we followed it up with them, and we've reminded them about what they said was possible, and it's with them to speak to the officers about it.
Oh dear. So they promised something that they shouldn't have promised. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
Okay, we're finding ourselves in a slightly uncomfortable position, frankly. As things stand at the moment, from the end of August, that room, the Burley Gallery, will have to be empty. In the 6 months from now till then, KCC will be asking other KCC departments, do you have any requirements for more space? If any of them turn around and say, yes, we do, that would suit us very nicely. Then unless the Heritage Trust can put up a really convincing business case that betters that, then it would go to KCC. And I tried to make the argument that if they left things as they were, they would receive income from Heritage, because Heritage wouldn't be paying us as a parish council. And they said, oh, well, no, because it's if we put another KCC department in there, they can pay for it, the running costs. And I said, well, hang on, that's a neutral cost, because it's still the taxpayer that will pay for the whole building. Whether it comes from X fund or Y fund, it's still coming out of the KCC budget, which is paid for by taxpayers. So if you left the heritage people in there, at least you would get income from a third party to help towards the running costs. Anyway, that was then up to the heritage to put that case forward, or whatever case they wished. But at the moment, as things stand, that room is going to be clear of heritage and museum equipment by the end of August. It's not satisfactory. We're still working at it, but that's the bottom line situation to it at the moment. Okie dokie. Any other points? No. Okay. You can come back, Neville. Take your hat off with a D on it. And, anyway, the upshot of that little discussion is that it's all your fault.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, let's
It's all fallen through.
let's press on. The 1600 houses, we've heard a bit about that. There'll be a very comprehensive update in the parish magazine for March. And I would just pick up 2 points only. The first is, and you probably know these already, the first is the local plan is the key document, and once land is allocated for development, there's no process for deallocating it. So that's the land up by the fishbone grill on both sides. And that's the end of the story for us as a parish council at the moment. And boy, have we fought our corner over this. It's not quite the end of the story, because the Thanet Trust Association are seeking a judicial review of the TDC decision-making process and is seeking to quash the planning permission. I think we need to be realistic here. That's great. That's great for the Thanet Trust Association, and wish them well, and we'll support them as best we can. But the bottom line is, all of the petitions, the demonstrations, the feeling from the parish council, we don't want it to go ahead. because we don't think it will suit the village. It really boiled down at the end of the day to two things. Firstly was planning. Had TDC gone about the planning the right way? And secondly, did St John's College, Cambridge, who own a lot of the land behind the medical centre, did they have the authority to sell that land because of the trust that was involved? And even if they could sell the land, were there restrictions on what they could do with the money? We took the view in the parish council that it was worth spending some money on investigating both of these areas. We're a village of 10,500 people. We're talking about something that's going to be built over 10 plus years. So when you look at it like that, the money expended was, in a way, money well spent. We went to a barrister for the planning, and he came back and said, albeit some of the planning is out of kilter, it's not enough for a judge to stop that. So you'll get nowhere there. And we went to the trust barrister, and he again said, no, I really don't think you've got a leg to stand on here. And so we are laymen, and so we had to draw a line under that. But if the Thanet Trust Association have better luck, then jolly good. But as things stand, it does look as though that development will go ahead. So, but read all about it in the parish magazine. And I'd like to put on record, actually, really the thanks of not just the council, but really all the people in Birchington who are against it, of the marvellous work that Nick Blankley in particular has done, the letters he's written, the people he's engaged over this. I hate to think how many hours and days of effort he's put into it. It's quite an extraordinary effort on his part. We should be grateful to him. I would just one final word about this and say, although it is the parish policy that we don't want the houses, there are some people who do want the houses within the village. So I met two of them the other day. So, you know, it's not quite 100%, but it would seem to be a majority are against it. Okay, thank you for that. The Pride in Place Income Fund, that's been mentioned already. 1.5 million for Thanet, awarded in September 25 to be spent by March 27, 18-month period. At the parish forum the other day, I specifically asked how the money was going to be allocated. We have sent forward to TDC a per capita idea of Thanet, how the money should be spent, which would give us a decent sum of money here. We were told unequivocally at the meeting that any decision would not be announced until after the April cabinet meeting. There was no question, there was no toing or froing. That's what the man said. And it turns out that a few days later, money had already been allocated. So take from that what you will. And the bottom line now is that we think at best we might receive, if we can bid for it, £20,000 for the village. But we have to bid for that. We have asked again, how were these allocations decided upon? And we have involved Sir Roger Gale as well in this. And so we are now looking at various projects around Birchington. If we got £20,000, how could we spend it? The square is an obvious area because it's the area you see first when you come into Birchington. If we could pretty that up somehow, but just to give you an idea, a bench these days, like the benches we have out on the corner of Dogacre, even a decent wooden bench, they're coming in at about £1,500 a pop. So, you know, our new notice boards were a couple of £1,000s ago. A new information board to replace the one that was knocked down by a car for twinning on Dogacre, that's £1,000. So you can see that £20,000, although it sounds quite a decent sum of money, it is very quickly spent on things. So if we do, we're thinking of ideas, they need to be solid ideas and ideas where we hope that the residents will see something for it. They will see a change of some description for the betterment of it. And a real wild card a wild card
Oh dear.
that I sort of threw in at the last moment for the heritage was, could we potentially buy a porter cabin? I say that loosely, they're much smarter than that, an office, and stick it in the ground between the library and the centre. No one's commented on, that's one of my ideas, but no one's commented on it. So I think we need to think that the trouble with that is, of course, it'd be great for heritage, but no one would see it. It wouldn't be that viewable. Anyway, the bottom line to the Pride in Place Impact Fund is best case £20,000, which I think is a bit of a thin return out of 1.5 million for Thanet, frankly. And the other thing for us, of course, we as volunteers would have sorted all this out at no cost. For any other big projects going on in wherever, there'll be consultants, there'll be meetings, there'll be all sorts. So it won't be a full sum of money. Anyway, there we are. Okay, I've spoken far too much, as usual. Yeah, we've already discussed the next agenda item, so we can get rid of that. The report from our district councillors. I'm delighted to see four of our district councillors are here tonight. Who would like to speak? Councillor Emma Dawson, thank you.
Good evening, councillors and Stephen Chairman. Just to let you know that Councillor Cedric Towning is the councillor for the parking. So if you do want to relate any questions, it is Cedric now. I don't actually hold a shadow cabinet role any longer, so I'm just a backbencher like my colleague here. Anyway, so I've got the Joint Transportation Board that I'm attending next week. So if any of you do have important questions that you want me to, send over, just email me and I'll be able to do that on your behalf. What I've been noticing recently is over at Westwood Cross, the way they've done those new roads, I think we're going to have to particularly, we're going to have to look at them, because if that kind of workmanship comes down to the Northampton link, we are going to need to keep an eye. So some of the things I've noticed while I've been there, been driving along those roads, is that the speed limits change quite rapidly. If you're going on the Hayne Road and then you're going along, that switches from 30 to 40 to 30. And then you've got the Nash Road where the new housing estates go, and they've got little gardens, but they've got sort of like, almost like fences, wired, like wrought iron sort of fences in their small gardens. It's almost like to protect them from the road, because when you drive down there, it's 60 miles an hour. And actually, there are no signs around saying 60. It's just your car will change to 60. In your cars, you get the little mock speedometer things, and they'll tell you the road. So that's really important, because we used to have roads that, when you had housing, they used to be 30 miles an hour, because you'd have housing, which means that a child could, jump out and just be hit. So I think we've got to pay particular attention to those 60-mile-an-hour zones, because they're far too fast. They are far too fast. So that's something I'm going to take to KCC. The other thing is over there is that when you've got the islands in the middle of the road, you've got reflectors that actually tell traffic that there is an island in the middle. Well, they've become so caked up with dirt, and they haven't been cleaned, so you're not seeing the danger signs on that road either. They're things that we need to look out for, and we need to really be holding KCC to account, because there needs to be street cleansing activities going on from KCC to clean all of those signs so they're safe for motorists. And I think that's really what I'm going to take to the Joint Transportation Board. Okay. The other thing I mentioned last time I was here, and there was a Casey councillor that actually, sort of intervened with what I was saying. It is still about the high council tax bands that we have down in Kent. So we've got a band H here, and in Westminster they also have band H, which the council tax is higher in Birchington than it is there. So we still do need Kent County councillors to lobby central government. It was happening beforehand, and we have to keep pushing that, because that is so unfair. If you look at the bands you can look at them. There's a distinct, significant rise in Birchington than there is in Westminster for a Band H property. So I think that that's something we all need to keep pushing for, because that's not right. People come down to Birchington to retire. They don't need to be paying all that much money. So yeah, anyway, that's me. Thank you.
Yeah, could you just give us a bit more background on the Joint Transportation Committee? What kind of matters you discuss? Is it all across Thanet and KCC, is it?
Yeah. So we can discuss anything. We can bring anything to the board that we want to, and that will be then, because now we don't have KCC officers come to that board anymore, which is a shame. Maybe it's because, you know, there'll be too many questions. I don't know. So we have to filter through the chairperson, and that chairperson takes it back to KCC, and that's when all of the ideas or issues or concerns or anything goes back to the officers. We don't have a direct link. We could email them, but we don't have a direct link where they can actually come back to us at the meeting. But yeah, we can put anything, even though they have their criteria, they go through, you know, like we have an agenda tonight, we still have areas that we can say this is what we're concerned on. That's why I'm going to take this.
Yeah. One thing I'd like then, firstly, Phil, were you on that committee?
Used to be, no, not this
okay.
time.
Firstly, I'd like to thank Councillor Bellows for all that he's done regarding Alpha Road car park. But that sounds exactly the place to bring up. You would have been copied in on the email regarding Alpha Road car park.
Yeah, we haven't had joint transportation for a while.
No, but
they've been cancelled.
There's safety issues there, and it doesn't really matter who owns it. Well, I suppose it does, whether you're KCC or TDC. There's safety issues up there, and they need addressing.
Okay, that's fine. Would you be able to send me that again?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And then get it so I can have it ready for Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, Emma, for the Joint Transportation Board, I think, did you say that KCC aren't on it?
The officers are on it. I'm sorry, the officers do not attend anymore, but we do have a KCC chairperson, and then the vice chair is a TDC. It's either either or they swap over.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they do.
That's the joint thing, the joint
Yes,
change.
it's joint. Yeah, joint.
But I just because I saw a letter from Sir Roger Gale to KCC about Thanet Way, and it was a bit of a bland reply, frankly, from them. I mean, Thanet Way is not going to get better by itself, but is that one of the sorts of things you'll be talking about?
That's it. Was that the A299? You're talking
Yes.
about the road that does that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, oh, that's awful. And it carries, there's a sort of like a, it's where the ground's moving, but they need to put money into it. And also it goes up a bit further as well, where you've got a few bumps as you're going up to Maidstone.
I just wondered if it was something that you discussed.
No,
I'll mention it.
Roger Gale has been in touch with KCC, and he has had a response to say that they will start work on the A229 on the 1st of June.
Oh, okay.
And they say it's going to take 6 weeks, but I can't believe it's only going to take 6 weeks.
No, just one section, not the whole thing.
So it's I'll find the email. Have you seen the email?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure which bits are going to be. Yeah.
They're just filling in the bumps. That's all.
Filling in the bumps.
Yeah, thank you. George, do you want to say anything?
Yes, please. Thank you, Max. So, as ever, I will give this report on behalf of myself and Councillor Pugh. So, there's been a couple of things going on. We finally had our meeting with Councillor Bright down in Minnis Bay Car Park. So, we discussed a couple of things. It was a very positive meeting, and there are a few things that Councillor Bright is going to take away. The main things that we discussed were there have been a lot of issues going on in that car park with boy racers, and quite a few complaints from residents that back onto the car park. So it's whether or not we can fix, there always used to be a barrier there, whether or not we can have ANPR barriers down there. We've been told that ANPR is a little bit down the road, but that's not a pun, but it's very much, Minnis Bay could be one of the ones that could have that fitted fairly quickly once they're in a position to put that in place. But either way, they want to see if there's another way that they can try and stop that with another form of barrier or something like that. The other issue along that road is that between the waves and the minutes, just especially during the summer, is when people cross that road. It's so dangerous when people are coming around if there's cars parked. So we've asked, as that lane is owned by TDC, if we can have some form of zebra crossing across there, so it's a little bit more signpost where you should cross. And Councillor Bright has said he's very happy for that to happen. So he's taken that away and doesn't believe that it should be too costly to TDC. So hopefully for this summer we should have a zebra crossing going across that bit of road. One of the main things that has happened recently at Thanet Council, as Councillor Fellows has already highlighted, was the budget. Our group, the Conservative opposition group, voted against the budget simply because we are, as a council, in a very, very, very difficult financial situation. A couple of years ago, we had £16 million in our reserves, and our reserves are obviously there for a rainy day to ensure that we can get by just in case there are any unexpected events, which quite often happen, as we all know, in local government. And right now they are at 9 million, and it is very likely, if you look at the forecast, that they will drop below 6 million, and 6 million is our cushion, and it's the level that our Section 151 officer, our finance officer, says if we start dropping below, then difficult conversations and difficult situations are going to have to happen. So if devolution is delayed by even a year, then TDC is going to either have to be making some very serious cuts or be writing to the Secretary of State for asking for some financial support. The bus shelters as well. So we're moving forward with the bus shelters again. There was some allocated funding that TDC wanted to apply for from Kent County Council to try and get the bus shelters in place. They've been successful in applying for that, so that money is now in the bank, and that has to be spent in a year, otherwise they lose the money. So with that in mind, it means that bus shelters should be in place across the district over the next year, with Minas Bay being the first to get their bus shelters back, which would be very good and very exciting. The other two things that we have been working on are, Cliff Road seems to be the planning element at the moment. So we've been working on a proposal that has come forward in relation to a house that is being proposed to be turned into flats, and then also Grenham Bay Care Home. That is another issue that is ongoing. Both of those applications have been called into the planning committee. If the officer is minded to approve them, the flat application, the last update I had from the officer was that they're still waiting for the ecological report to come back, and the issues around that they feel about the biodiversity and the impacts on that side. But either way, if it's recommended for approval, it will come back into the planning committee. And the Grenham Bay Care Home, the last was the other day. I spoke to the officer, and she's coming to do a site visit. There was a resident that wrote to us, and I believe they wrote to you as well, Jen.
Yeah.
And I've said to them, if they're happy for the officers to go around to their house, to also have a viewpoint of what this will look like. So yes, so that is an update from myself and Councillor Pugh. Happy to take any questions.
The footpath that goes from Spencer Road down to the promenade that was closed off for quite a while.
Yes.
Is TDC responsible for that?
Yes.
Is it deemed to be safe now? Because, right.
Slipping.
No. So it is. The barriers are still there. They're just residents have chosen to pull them back and keep using it.
Sorry, is that? Are you talking about common stairs, or
are you? Sorry, what one are you talking about?
The one that was closed off for quite a while.
Spencer Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, beg your pardon. So that's safe to use, absolutely.
All right.
It's muddy.
Why?
Very slippery.
I've only been down there once.
The
I'm
other
not
day.
sure that I'd want to go down again, because it's there's some quite steep steps there with an overhand rail.
There are indeed.
And in general, it doesn't.
I think the position that we were in is we either have no access down to the promenade with Coleman Stairs and Spencer Road closed.
Yeah.
The quickest option to get one open and the safest option to get one open was the Spencer Road option.
Yeah.
So we chose to go for that for the time being, to ensure there was still access down to that road from all the surrounding roads that surround that alleyway.
Yeah.
The Coleman Stairs one is still very much ongoing. Where the council have recently got quotes back, which are very expensive, in the hundreds of thousands of pounds to get that repaired. And as I have just stated, there is not exactly money being around at the moment for the council.
Okay, but they consider that the Spencer Road one is safe enough.
It's all been signed
Oh,
off by
right,
the health and safety manager.
Okay, thank you.
But don't go down there and accidentally have a fall.
Don't go down in your flip-flops in the mud.
Thank you, George. Is anything happening with the crabbing pool? The last couple of mornings it's been empty.
Yes, so the crabbing pool absolutely has been empty for, I think, 2 or 3 months now. So we have been told that it will be fixed for the summer again. It appears that there is a further issue from so where it was originally fixed, when we last got it fixed 3 years ago now, which was more to do with the barrier around the outside. There's an issue that is further down within the concrete that needs further work. So like they're currently doing with Walpole Bay, where they've completely drained it and fixing it properly, that should be happening for the crabbing pool this summer as well.
Thank you, George. All right. Do our other TDC councillors wish to say anything?
I'm not sure if I should really, because there's an election next week, but I mean, I will just run through a couple of things.
Yep.
I mean, Alpha Road car park, which you brought up. I mean, I've had a response from TDC who say it's not theirs. They've looked at the map and all the potholes are in the bits that are owned by KCC. So I've challenged that. I said, can you show me the map which divides them to us? But I haven't had that yet. LGR, the consultation, let's pick up. If you want to make a representation to the LGR individually, it's on the TDC website. It's the top thing on the front page of the TDC website. Parking strategy, which you brought up. A few things that have started on that. It's going to be easier for residents to apply for yellow lines or residents parking schemes outside the house. You don't have to go and find your councillor and do it through your council. Residents can actually do it themselves. They're looking at better signages, and as you said, Max, review of parking charges. As you say, in more tourist areas, the charge is going to be higher, and hopefully we might get something lower, but who knows? But doubtful anyway. Parish charter, we're part of my position as a chair of the Thanet Area Committee. I'm helping to put together with Jane and the rest of the clerks across Thanet what they call a parish charter, which will then be set in stone and be taken forward for the unitary, which will give clear rules, maybe rules, we can say rules, should we say rules? I don't know if they're, rules that between the parish councils and whichever council comes next, and it'll be like clear channels of communication, training for parish councillors, code of conduct and things like that. That'll all be in there, it'll all be set in stone, it'll be signed off, everyone will agree to it, and hopefully well, I don't hold up much out for communication because it's always difficult, but with LGR again, I'm a part of my scrutiny. I'm putting together a working group where we're going to try and collate all the information, because at the moment it's just consultation. As soon as June comes and the options are all agreed, there's going to be lots of things, lots of information they're going to need putting together, and my scrutiny panel will put a report out once a month, and I'll make sure that you're informed of what's in that report every month. What else can I say? Pride of Place impact. I mean, I'm disappointed with that. I mean, the two projects that were chosen were Piermont Park in Broadstairs and the Margate Town, the old town hall and museum. They're getting the bulk of the money, and then it's just like X said, there's £100,000 for the villages for 8 councils to bid for. So I believe Sir Roger Gale is going to be on that adjudication panel, so we make friends with him. So, and yeah, I mean, I'll be up for putting lights back around the lampposts, but that's up for debate. And as part of my scrutiny, we've had some big meetings this month. We had the people from Freshwater own Arlington House. People said I'd never get them in the chamber. We had them into a meeting last month where we held them to account. Hopefully you'll see Arlington House being done up in the not too distant future. And I just, because Linda White's not allowed to shout her own trumpet at this meeting, Linda White is now a shadow cabinet member for communities.
Well done.
Good.
All right. Anything for Phil? Jim?
If I may.
Yeah.
Looking at the Thanet business case for option 4B,
Yeah.
it makes reference to parish councils 34 times. Were any of the district, any of the town councils or other parish councils consulted upon regarding option 4B?
No, that was purely a district council's
Yeah,
decision.
that's not.
Yeah,
So-
it wasn't, it was that, the one that was put forward by Thanet Council is not the one I wanted.
No.
They put forward the option where it's 3 councils working together. I believe it should have been a much bigger. I think you put in Canterbury, Thanet and Dover together, it's 3 of the most poorest councils in the country working
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
I think we should have included Ashford or Folkestone or some of Swale. You know, I think there's
the government expects the council to pick up the tabs for all this. Thanet being in the financial state that it doesn't make sense.
Well, they'll have to provide
Yeah.
funding.
I mean,
Funding's-
personally, my personal opinion is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm not convinced that things are broken.
Nobody's asked for
necessarily.
this. I do think there's some merit in it. That, you know, I know that if you ask the man in the street, he doesn't know who collects his bins and who sweeps his street. So, you know, I think there is some merit in bringing it all together, so everybody knows who does what, and you know, but it's going to cost a hell of a lot of money. I don't see where the savings are going to come from. All the staff are going to be all taken on from all the councils, are going to be taken to one council, and then they're all going to, some are going to have to be made redundant, whatever. I don't know exactly where it's going to be, but you can't have 5 people doing one job. So
it just seems.
I don't know where the savings are coming from. I don't think the savings have been
that-
made for years anyway. So,
So much is going to come down to the parishes,
well,
and they're the last ones. Well, actually, the parishes don't actually get a say in it, do they?
the parishes do get a say in it. You know, nobody's going to force this council to take on anything or to do anything. I mean, there'll be probably some difficult decisions to be made if they turn around and say we're going to close the toilets down in Birchington. I think then you're going to have to say to yourself, what do we want to be part of that? But then that's up to us later.
It is
down
one
the
of
road.
these cases we don't know what we don't know.
We don't know what,
So,
nobody knows. And I was in a calc workshop with lots of chairs and from all round Kent, and people were saying, "Oh, we've been kept in the dark." No one's been kept in the dark because nobody knows.
Do you think there might be a U-turn down the road sometime?
I think it might be a delay. I don't think there'll be a
Okay.
U-turn.
Right,
Okay,
thank you.
let's draw a line under all that because there's nothing we can do about it at the moment. But thank you, Phil, for that. Linda, do you wish to say anything?
Yeah, I do. Phil, thank you, Councillor Bellows, for taking most of what I was going to say. But
Oh, I do apologise.
Okay.
anyway, I think I've got this right. The sluice gates at Brenham Bay will have been a problem, Councillor Cup.
Sorry, I
The
was
sluice,
talking in the back.
the sluice gate at Brenham Bay, I believe, has been a problem.
Okay.
Okay, in my capacity on the drainage board, we had a report.
Floodgate.
We've had a report, and that the sluice gate is now fully operational and fixed. So you shouldn't have any more problems with that. I'm going to go back to what Councillor Houghton said about the pride of place money. The 1 point whatever million.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind it's going to be shared out by 8 or 10 parish councils. I think we're lucky to get that.
Really?
Yeah, is that?
It does feel like an afterthought. to be
Yeah,
honest.
but
That's a token offering.
I think
You're not lucky
Councillor
at all.
Fellows and myself
It's
agree. That,
disgraceful that we're not getting a better share.
yeah, I
Absolutely
know.
disgraceful.
I know, and I feel the same way. And I think
I take what you say on board, but I mean, I looked at the Swale Council. Sorry, Linda, the Swale money, and they've done exactly the same thing, and they gave, I mean, the full parish council's £10,000 each. So I think if we get 20,000, I think we're getting more than they're allocating in other areas. I think the fact is that I think most areas are put into 2 or 3 projects, and that's it. I think that it's the time span is the problem.
The trouble is, the time span is important, and the time span's got shorter and shorter
Yeah.
because of the indecision about it.
Okay, we've talked about pride and
There's
place.
been an indecision.
We'll get what we'll get. We're not happy with it, but that's the way of the world.
yeah, and yeah. Finally, can I apologise to the clerk?
In writing.
No, I'm going to do it verbally. I can't go into detail as to what the occurrence was, but through no fault of myself or anybody else, some casework actually fell at her door. But that has been but I can say it has been rectified. And thank you.
Okay, no idea what you're talking
No,
about,
but-
but thank you anyway. All right, okay, thank you for that. We've got no KCC councillors present, which is a bit disappointing.
Can I ask that we invite Councillor Evans to our next meeting so he can explain about what's going on with the library?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I thought they have an open invitation.
Yeah. No, but I
They
think,
get invited to every full council
yeah,
meeting.
but maybe we just need to send a special meeting on that particular point, because
Okay.
I think we've only seen them a couple of times since May.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll note that, Phil.
they are coming down for separate discussion, but yes, I agree. I think they should be here. Okay. Stephen Ward, our police, Steve England, our policeman, Stephen Ward, not him. Stephen, I don't want him here, but Stephen England is on holiday or is not here. Jason is doing something. He's just come, I thought he'd just come back from holiday. The Speedwatch meeting took place here, and I've quite what's going on, I don't know. We're leaving it in the Steve England's hands for the moment, so nothing to report on that. The monthly bank reconciliation.
Yeah.
Jane, please.
I've got bank recs and supporting documents for December and January, so I don't know if
Thank you. Whilst that's going on, clerk's correspondence, please.
yeah, I have got a few items. Sorry about this, everyone. I sent round an email earlier on about the consultation for the reopening of Manston Airport, the 2026 airspace change consultation. So just to make everyone aware of that, they've undertaken to send further information out to us shortly. So that'll be coming. Obviously, I know we've got an election next week, but a date for everyone's diaries is the 14th of April, which is when we're going to have our parish assembly. That has been booked for the centre, and I've managed to get a lady from Network Rail to come and give a presentation on the bridge that's going to be installed over at Brooksend Crossing. I think if you remember from a couple of years ago when we had a parish assembly, we had a gentleman from Network Rail who came over and they undertook to keep us advised as to what was going to happen. We haven't heard from them, and then all of a sudden we hear that there's a solution. So she's agreed to come to that meeting, so that should be interesting. I've also today sent a note round to councillors about a Southern Water workshop seminar. It's a customer drop-in event, sorry, that's happening next Wednesday in Cliftonville. If anyone wants to attend that one. We've already gone over the LGR business, and that's it from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jane. The next meeting before it has to be within 14 days of the 13th of March. So we will councillors who are selected, elected, will be notified of the date. We can't quite pick it up yet because a lot of people were not expecting to have an election and they have other plans, blah blah blah. We need to find a date that suits everybody, particularly if there are new people who are elected. So that's that. And finally, before I ask the public to go, because we have one more thing, I'd just like to thank all the councillors for their efforts over the last 3 years as councillors. Thank you to the TDC councillors for their support. I'd particularly like to thank Pat on behalf of the British Residents Association and Rod Giddings, although he's not here, for coming along to the meetings and going back and briefing people about what goes on. That's greatly appreciated. Also, our handyman Dave works in all weathers, does a terrific job. And although he sometimes comes along, but he's not here now, Brian Faulkner, who's done the most fantastic work up at the recreation ground, and we've got a lot to thank him for. And finally, but not lastly, Jane and Bill Anderson, our clerks. So it's been a very good 3 years, I think. And for those of you who are standing for election, I wish you well, and may or may not see you here again, who knows. So there we are. Thank you all. If I could just ask the public to go, and we will close down one staffing matter. Thank you.
You asking me, Bill?
Yeah, do you want to go for a drink?
No, I want to go have some food.
Food. That's like a packet of crisp, Pat, if you like.
You didn't bring any popcorn tonight then?
Can I just say how disgusted I am? I write every time in the newspaper, we haven't seen our UKIP councillor